Hey, my Liptons. Good. Well, not good. Happy New Year. I was going to say good morning, but Happy New Year. All right, we are now in the year of 2026. I hope y'all all enjoyed y'all New Year. Personally, for me, on New Year's Eve, I went out to the movie theaters to go watch Stranger Things, the finale. Okay, I toured around the city. That's what I did. Okay, I wasn't gonna go see no ball dropping. Okay, truthfully, my Liptons, I think that is probably the most overrated thing ever in New York. But whatever. Um, but yeah, I went to go see the finale in theaters. I didn't do a review of Stranger Things of the second half of season 5, because I felt like, you know what, let me just wait to the finale to kind of gather all my thoughts together. And I'm gonna be honest with you, the finale wasn't that bad. Like I'm not like, Game of Thrones disappointed or anything like that. I did want a little bit more, but then I'm not gonna lie. I will say this: the beginning half of the finale really like got to me. Like, I was just like, oh my god! Like I was so scared. I was like, oh my god, who's gonna die? Da da da. So, so that was mostly. I would say like the first half and the middle half were really like my thing, but towards the end, I felt like it was like it was definitely like sappy and that sort of thing. So, a cute little happy ending for the fiction girlies. Okay, this was definitely not no like Game of Thrones. Like, if you thought that it was gonna end on a happy note, you must be a truly mistaken kind of thing. So, um, so yeah, let's get into it. Obviously, there's gonna be spoilers. If you guys didn't watch it, I'm gonna be spoiling some things in this review. Um, so here's the thing. Like I said, I thought that there was gonna be a lot more people that were going to die. I'm not gonna lie. Um, right off the bat, I'm not gonna lie. Kali's death kind of low key really got to me because I felt like, especially in the second half of volume 2 of season 5, people were kind of getting on Kali because they felt like, she's giving very much so traitor, because, she basically told, and honestly, the more that you think about it, the more you kind of, you can see Kali's point of view. Like, she was just like, listen, like, we have to kamikaze ourselves right now. Like, we have to do a kamikaze mission once we get rid of Vecna, our brother, because like this cycle is just gonna continue. Like, Dr. K and her minions are not going to stop until they get every last one of us. All right, with our telekinesis. So once we get rid of Henry, we're gonna have to kamikaze ourselves into oblivion. So for me personally, I saw where Kali was coming from her point of view. And I don't know, I felt like the fans kind of gave her character a quite a bit of shit, because I'm just like, listen, like, when you're at the like the end of the road, like when you're just over it at this point, and when you had the upbringing that Kali and Elle and shit, Henry, whoever, all these kids, Dr. Brenner's freaking experiments, what all these kids went through, like, you're already at your wit's end. So it's like I understood where Kali was coming from. And of course, Elle probably wanted a different life, of course, because, she had family, she had all these different things. She had Mike and everything, but like, she, she understood what she was trying to say. Obviously, Hopper was very suspicious of Kali, didn't like her, from the start, when they saved her from the lab. Um, I'm not gonna lie. Like I said, the deaths. Why didn't I really wanted Dr. K to go. I'm sorry. Like, I really, really wanted Dr. K to get her head blown off. I was happy that one soldier guy, the one that kept calling Elle a freak, that guy, he was getting on my nerves. The fact that Elle and Hopper didn't kill his ass in volume 1 really pissed me off. So I was very satisfied with his death in the finale. But I was really hoping Dr. K to get her shit rocked. Like, I was like, why? Like, I was like, why is Dr. K still alive? Why is she still alive? And I'm also not gonna lie, I was hoping that maybe one of the gangs, like in the beginning of the finale, I'm not gonna lie, we all thought that Steve was. We were low-key shook in the theaters, okay? Because we thought that if Steve, it was going to be over for Steve. Because the way Steve tipped over on that freaking, whatever, lighthouse or whatever, we thought that he was gonzo, okay? But Jonathan reached out and saved his ass. Oh my God, my baby Holly. Oh my God, my baby Holly. Holly went through it. Oh my baby. Like I was like going back into volume 2 of the season. Like Holly was going through it. Like Max abandoned her for her man, and then she told Holly to find her way. Oh, that was so disrespectful and so manipulative of Max to do. And then the kids, all of the other 11 kids, ended up ganging up on Holly and jumping her and shit. Oh, my baby Holly. Like, I was just like, Holly, you need, like, sis, like, help is coming, help is on the way. But she was really one of the standout stars, I would say, in this season. Holly really did her big one. I like that scene in the finale when, oh my God, when Vecna, when Henry was going after them kids in the cave, and he had Holly by the freaking foot, and then Derek was pulling, okay, do you hear me? Derek was pulling, and when he pulled, he said, "You better suck my fat one." That's obviously one of the standout lines, of the season with Derek, dipshit Derek, as they like to call him. Oh, another standout star, Jaime, Bower, Campbell. We need to give him his 10s. We need to give him his 10s. This guy is an actor. This guy is a phenomenal actor. I'll be very surprised if he doesn't continue to get more roles after this, because Jaime Campbell really, I mean, just like, the acting was spectacular. Like, he, especially in the finale, like, you got to see, like, the other side of Henry and and his fears, and honestly how this whole thing kind of started, and how he was taken over by this mind flayer, by this darkness, and how he ended up getting his powers. So it's just to see that, like, yo, when he entered that cave, I was like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. I was like, let me say something. The beginning half of the finale was amazing. I'm not gonna lie, like, it was amazing. It was like at the tip of my toes. Like, I was just like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. Like, everybody in the theaters was like, oh my God, like, please. Like, we were going crazy, but it was so suspenseful. It was so suspenseful. The music was amazing. Like, when he entered that cave and he was, remembering everything with the memory, it was just, and then like I said, like, the acting was, like, he's one of the best actors on the show. Like, him, I would say he really did, like, Jaime, when I say Jaime Campbell, he needs to get some acting roles after this. Like, I do not want to see, like, some bullshit, like, he needs to get some roles after this. Put him in some movies. Put him in some scary movies or something. Some high budget, Steven Spielberg, I don't know, Martin Scorsese. Y'all need to call this man to put him in your movies, okay? Because he really carried. Like, him, I would say Millie Bobby Brown too. Her acting definitely improved, because I felt like, she was a little bit off the season, I would say, in season 5. She was a little bit off it. But I will say in this, because, this was a very emotional episode too. Like, with with Callie's death, like, oh, that really got to me. And what happened to her. And I felt like Callie got a bad rap overall, for what she believed, for what was right. Because we can see her point of view. Like, Millie Bobby Brown was amazing. Jaime Campbell was amazing. Like I said, Holly, Derek, like just amazing. So that fights. Oh my god, they and like they Will, I would say this too. Will did his big one too. We have to give Will his credit. He did his big one too when it came to that fight scene between 11 and Vecna, okay? Cuz I was just like when the freaking what is it, mind flare thing came to life and stuff like that. I was like, yo, it's over for some of these kids. Like y'all better get the hell out of here right now because they're about to fuck you up. So 11 really really did a big one, and then when Will came in to come and save freaking 11 from getting her shit, from getting pierced through Vecna's nails and shit, I was like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. I was like, yes, Will, yes. But yeah, so Will also got to see um what happened with Henry and how he became this monster. And listen, I'm also glad that they I'm glad that they kept Henry as a villain. Like, I feel like nowadays in Hollywood, they always want to give like a redemption arc to these like fucking complex, complicated characters. And that kind of annoys me. And one thing, and this is gonna be so off topic, but like one film that I think about that when it comes to like, for instance, like Encanto. Like, do y'all remember how like Bruno, like we all thought, oh my god, Bruno's just like this evil guy, and it turns out like all generational trauma and stuff like that. And it's like, don't get me wrong, like yes, I get it, generational trauma, but I feel like nowadays, like in Hollywood, they like to give like these redeeming qualities to these like fucked up characters, and it's like no, let the villains be villains. You know what I mean? Let the villains be villains. So I was happy that like in the finale, Henry was like, no, this is who I am. I chose this life. I chose the mind flare, and the mind flare chose me. It wasn't something that consumed me. It wasn't anything that I was bamboozled and led astray into becoming Vecna. No, I chose this life. Okay, I chose to be the bad guy. What did Razor Ramon say? Everything is cool with the bad guy. I chose to be the bad guy. And I'm glad they kept it that way. I'm glad that they ended Vecna's story with him being a villain. Okay, so I was happy that they kept that. Child, when 11 and Henry were going at it inside the mind flayers' body and shit, I was just like, L, you better whoop some ass. You better whoop some ass. Whoop this guy's ass after everything he put y'all through for 4 seasons straight. Like, and not even going since the beginning of the season too. Like, whoop that ass. When I tell you, L did the fucking. Y'all remember Avatar: The Last Airbender when Aang got had that wound in his back and he pierced it again because of Azula. That's what it gave. It gave like when L freaking telekinesis his ass onto that freaking tooth, onto that piercing tooth, and then he was like, huh. And then when I tell you Joyce came in there with that axe and she started remembering everything that this freaking monster put her and her family through. When I told you she took that freaking axe and when I say chop to the butcher, bitch, chopped Vecna's head off like a fucking. Y'all remember freaking Twilight when the Volturi, whatever they and took Cloudow's head off and held. That's what it was given. Okay, chop that head right off. Okay, I was like, yes. When I saw you the theater, I'm not gonna lie to you, the theater was screaming. We were getting our lives. That's why I wanted to go watch it in theaters because. Like, the vibes and like when you feel everybody's like the audience's emotions when you're watching scenes like that, it's amazing. This is why we need to keep movie theaters open, okay? Keep movie theaters open for reasons like this, Netflix, okay? So but yes. Like I said, I was expecting more deaths. I'm not gonna lie. I was expecting maybe, I don't know, like, well, let's continue. So once they killed Vecna, They leave the upside down. Everybody's safe. Elle is safe. Everybody's safe. Okay, so so far the only people that have died is Kali and the soldiers, basically, if I'm not mistaken, and Vecna. So Mind Flayer's gone, Vecna's gone, Kali's gone, soldiers are gone. They're in the truck and exiting the upside down. Here comes Dr. K and her goons, child. Here comes Dr. K and her minions. Here they go. This is why I wanted Dr. K to freaking die. Like I was so sick of that broad. She confiscates them, and I'm like, oh my god, they're about to take Elle. They're about to take Elle, and then Elle disappears from the truck, and then she's at the upside because now the Murray and all of them, they decide to blow up the upside down because they're like, listen, we gotta get rid of this. We gotta get rid of this other world. So they're trying to bomb the upside down. They put a timer on it. Elle stays back at the upside down. And all of us in the theater were like, oh my god. She's standing there in the upside down. It's about to blow up. We're going crazy. We're like, oh my god, Elle's really about to fucking kamikaze blow herself up, self-implode. So she's in there. And then Mike is screaming. When I say Mike was screaming, oh my god, Elle, Elle. Everybody was like, Elle, Elle. She goes into Mike's mind. She tells Elle, listen, you have to, basically, like, you have to let me go. You have to let me go. Okay? So she's like, you gotta let me go. So Purple Rain starts playing in the background. Me and my sister start singing the song while she's giving her emotional speech to Mike. Purple Rain. Okay, so they kiss, and then the upside down blows up, and then Elle is gone with it. So we're shook. We're like, damn, Elle really sacrificed herself. Like, she really became the sacrificial lamb. So we thinking that it's over for Elle on that scene. So it didn't go. Mind you, this is the part where I'm like, okay, this is where I start to kind of feel like, okay, like, very sappy, very whatever with the finale. It goes 18 months later. Everybody's like in school. They're about to graduate. You have Nancy, Jonathan. Even though personally for me, I wish Nancy and Jonathan could have just been endgame. I hated what they tried to do with their characters. It annoyed me, but whatever. Nancy, Jonathan, Steve, and Robin, they're having their little talk about how they're gonna, the future and shit like that. Hopper and Joyce, Hopper ends up proposing to Joyce. It's graduation. Mike at first doesn't want to go, and then he ends up going, and then freaking Dustin does his whole big one on stage, on the graduation stage with the Hellfire shirt. You know him. He's always being freaking whatever. Then they're downstairs, and then of course Lucas and Max are endgame. That's the thing too. Like, y'all not gonna like this. I mean, but then again, okay. I see why Max. Max served her purpose. I'm not gonna lie. Like, Max really, really served her purpose, because, especially for like when they were trying to find Vecna. When, oh my god, that one scene, yeah, and I'm not gonna spoil it, but that one scene with Vecna and Hopper, that really had me shook, because I was like, y'all should go watch it. I don't want to spoil it, because I want you guys to go watch that. But I don't know, there's a part of me that feels like Max should have stayed dead in season 4, but whatever. I might get backlash for that, but I don't know. But yeah, Lucas and Max are endgame. Then it goes to the Wheeler house, and they're all that Lucas, the gang, Lucas, Dustin, Will, Mike, and Max, they're all downstairs. They're playing the Dungeons and Dragons game and all that stuff, and they're talking and things like that. And then Mike starts talking about, so I forgot what the thing was, but like he starts saying something, and then he basically makes an analogy that Elle is technically still alive. But the friends didn't get it. The gang didn't get it. But because like he was like, first of all, how did Elle was still in the upside down when the fucking when her kryptonite was still going on? She would have been in pain in that moment. So he was basically saying that like Kali used her powers. You know how Kali has the power of like making you see things that you really don't see. So she basically made them see. Elle basically was not there. Elle ended up escaping to like a whole. That girl ended up leaving, going to a whole different country or something like that. I don't know, Scotland or Ireland or something like that. So even for me at that moment, I was like, wait a minute. So is she alive? Is she dead? But what's the tea? And then I'm like, okay, she's alive technically. Like she is alive. Elle is alive in a different place. So basically she's never coming back because of, if she comes back, Dr. K and her goons are gonna try to find her again, try to, do what they want to do with her experiment on her, kill her, whatever. So even though to me personally, I'm like, I don't know, like, but knowing Elle, I feel like Elle will still want to be in touch, especially with Hopper, because that relationship with Hopper. Like, I'm like, I don't know, like that was a little bit. That doesn't seem like Elle to do. I don't know. I feel like Elle could have also had a different method to show them that they are alive, that she is alive, and but whatever. I guess that's how they want to end it. So yeah, the show basically ends like that. Like it ends like that with not Max, Mike giving this analogy of like how Elle could still be alive in a whole different place, because it's like it's not possible for her to still be in the upside down when her kryptonite is still activated. So I guess that's how they try to make people feel better with that shit. But whatever, I guess. And then at the end, you had now Holly and her friends are not into the whole Dungeons and Dragons thing, I guess. Personally for me, like I said, I liked the beginning half and the middle half of the finale. The end, it was like, okay, it's cute, but it's like whatever. It was whatever for me. Like I said, personally for me, there's a part of me that feels like Max should have stayed dead in season 4. Y'all not gonna like me. Y'all not gonna like me saying that, but there's a part of me that feels that way. But at the end of the day, I'm like, Max also served her purpose, especially towards in the finale episode. Which I quite understood. I felt like Nancy also really did her big one, especially with the mind flayer. Noah Schnapp, listen. Noah, the acting this season, it was not acting. I don't know what's going on. I felt like the only times where like Noah's acting was kind of, it was believable was when he was either like in pain or something, like, or he was, in the hive mind or some shit like that. But the scenes where he's just like regular, like he's just talking and, talking to Mike and shit, like his acting was very, very lukewarm, very, very not inspirational. And I felt like, to me, I don't know what it is, but it felt like younger Noah Schnapp was more believable than older Noah Schnapp. Because, like, if you go back to season 1, season 2, even season 3, Noah Schnapp was more, the acting was better. But I don't know what's going on with him in season 5. The acting was just not acting. And some of his scenes, even the way that he's expressing his dialogue sometimes was just very Valley Girl in the suburbs up in California. Like it was just very, very just like like it felt like that. It felt very drawn out. So yeah, like I said, I felt like the standout stars was Holly, Derek, Henry / aka Vecna, did like amazing. I felt like Elle, especially in the finale, her acting got better. But yeah, I mean, listen, I'm gonna miss the show. I'm gonna miss the show. I know that they're doing another Stranger Things thing with like a whole new different cast and new like a whole new story and things like that. I don't know. They're trying to do like a House of the Dragon kind of thing. I mean, I guess. I I'll see if I'll tune in. But for now, this is the end of an era. This is something that's been on for 9 years, damn near a decade, and it really captivated the masses. So I really really like the show for what it is, and I'm actually gonna go back and watch my favorite scenes throughout the seasons. This is a show that really really it's really like another it's really like a pop culture moment. The show was, and it's gonna be a while till we have a show that, like, when I say like it captures like America's, like, the heart of America, really. You know what I mean? Like the same way like how Game of Thrones did. I felt like this Stranger Things was one of those shows that really, like, we all sat down and, like, I would say not all of us, but like a good amount of us sat down and really sat and watched, and everybody's talking about it. Everybody's just going crazy about it. You talking about the Netflix crashes and all those different things. So yeah, we'll just have to wait and see what goes on for. But like I said, I need Jaime Campbell to get his acting roles, and honestly, he also needs to get his awards for his role as this character, because he did his big one with this character, as Vecna, as Henry. The emotions he was just amazing in this finale. He was great. He was really great. But like I said, and also for you guys who are mad, and listen, shout out to my Free Palestine girlies. Like I said before in the beginning of this review that I did for season 5, I know y'all guys are mad that we gave this show views after everything with these Zionists. But here's the thing. The character of Maury and Noah Schnapp, they ain't gonna get no roles after this. Can we be honest? Noah Schnapp's acting was not tea like that this season. And then Maury's just Maury. So it's just like, he's a side character. We're not really gonna go to like him as a single star to go watch his shit. We're not gonna go watch it. So whatever. Let's just hang it up here. Let's leave. Let's close the door while we're here. But anyway, y'all, you guys tell me what you guys think in the comment section below. Please like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Let's get up to 2,000 subscribers, and I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.